Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning, Dorothy. Good morning. Welcome to All Things Moore County. I love that new song.
I know you do.
It's got a nice piece of pep to it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Listening to me talk to you all these years, do you remember which month I always reference as the best weather month, the best month?
I think we're in that month, aren't we?
I think we are. October?
Yep, I agree. October's great.
Yeah. For a kid who's born in Brooklyn, New York, who...
Did you even see trees in New York?
Yeah, we cut, our parents had us cut grass with a scissor.
I don't doubt it.
We had manhole covers on the streets.
With grass on them?
One of my guests is nodding. Yes, she knows New York. Moore County is the most beautiful place to be in the month of October. The warm days, the cool evenings, and all the events that start to come out of the woodwork that set the tone for the holiday season of November and December. The weekends are jam-packed, and we're going to be speaking with a group today called Women of the Pines and an upcoming fundraiser they're doing on the 16th of October. It's the Women of the Pines Bake Sale fundraiser. But just last weekend, we had Autumn Fest in Southern Pines. And in 2 weeks, the village of Pinehurst is going to be taken over by artisans, by lots of the people who live here who come out, and they're just so vibrant. They walk the streets, and the village takes on a whole different character. So we wonder why the restaurants are so jam-packed this time of the year with all the tourists who are in town, and the people who live here who want to come out and celebrate. This year especially, because last year so many agencies were derailed. People had to pivot. They didn't know what to do. Fundraising activities, didn't come to a standstill, but it was much harder to reach out to people. And so today, things are starting to feel better, but there are still edgy reports about things that are going on. So people are feeling better, but they're also looking over their shoulder a little bit, and everyone seems to be proceeding cautiously. There's nothing cautious about the 3 ladies that are sitting at this desk today, Women of the Pines. Laurie Michelich, I did pronounce that right. And are you from New York?
Brooklyn.
Where in Brooklyn?
East New York.
So I was from Bay Ridge.
Oh, my husband's from Bay Ridge.
Oh, see that? And you forgave him? How long have you been down here in Moore County?
About 20 years.
Okay, and you're the past president of the Women of the Pines.
Yes, I am.
All right. And Debby Higginbotham, you're the co-chair of the Women of the Pines?
No, I'm the co-chair of the bake sale. I'm on the bake sale chair.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And you're not are you a Moore County resident originally?
I have been here 35 years.
Oh.
I came here from Cleveland, Ohio. Well, Cincinnati, Ohio, sorry. I'm from Cleveland, but yeah.
I'm always amazed. And how did you come to Moore County?
My husband's job.
Okay.
My husband works for Pinehurst Resort, so
right.
Here I came.
So, okay. And so to your left, Amy Walters, you're the publicity chair for Women of the Pines.
Yes.
You, too, are not a native of Moore County.
Correct.
Where did you come from?
Bethesda, Maryland.
And how did you get here?
We were looking for where baby boomers go in low crime.
Okay. And how long have you been here in Moore County?
April 2012.
Okay, fairly recently.
Correct.
I find that so many people who come to the show and who are involved in one agency or another, none of them are natives. And you all sort of get together and reconnect and re-network. And now Moore County is home. So how did you get involved in the Women of the Pines group?
Vicki Hancock was
I know
secretary.
Vicki. Yep.
And Vicki sponsored me and suggested that I get into this organization.
So Vicki, is she still involved with the newcomers?
No.
Okay, she was on the show many years ago.
She was president.
That's it.
And I was on. I did the newsletter.
Okay.
We were on the board together.
The Women of the Pines has been around since 1974. Can you tell me a little bit about the organization, the mission statement, what it stands for, what it does? It's not just a bake sale you're doing.
No, our mission is to raise money for Moore County Charities.
Yep.
We also fund usually a couple of scholarships for needy Sandhills Community College students that otherwise wouldn't be able to afford to go to college. We give them enough money for tuition fees, everything they need for 1 year.
Right. The event that we're talking about is the 16th of October from 9 to 2. And where is it going to be held exactly?
It's going to be held in the parking area of the Sandhills Women's Exchange on Azalea Road in Pinehurst.
They were on just before the pandemic.
Okay.
They were, didn't they just celebrate their, was it what?
I think this is their 100th
100th anniversary.
Is it
Yes.
this year?
Yes.
Yeah. That, for people who have not been in to that beautiful cabin, it is quite something to see. I notice a lot of people are not, they drive by it all the time, but they don't stop in. And when they do, they, oh my gosh, it's a restaurant. It's a gift shop. And that's where you're going to be staked out for the entire day on the 16th from 9 to 2.
From 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., yes,
Yeah.
we will be there.
The 16th is it not just a bake sale? Isn't there more going on in the village at the same time that will draw a lot of people?
Yeah, it's the same day as the Holly
That's
Arts Festival.
Yeah, and it's a celebration of the whole year. Last year, were you guys sidelined?
No, would you like to?
Oh, go ahead.
No,
No.
we actually pivoted last year.
Pivoted,
and
yeah.
Normally, we had always done our bake sale at the Holly Fair. We had the same booth every year. But our members decided that they didn't really feel comfortable doing that. So Barb Summers, who's the
Yep.
president of the board of
Yep.
the cabin,
The exchange.
said that we could do our event in the parking lot of the exchange, which is what we did.
So I saw some of the photos on the website of all the goods. How do you collect them all? How does that all work? Crazy.
We solicit the women to bake. So we kind of send out an email and ask for volunteers to either bake, work the day, sit at the table and sell raffle tickets for our raffle.
Right.
Just so that everybody pitches in some way. And if they can't really be there available hands-on, then they usually donate monies that we either put towards our charity or towards the event that we're doing.
And this particular bake sale is the largest fundraiser of the year for you all, for Women of the Pines?
Since the pandemic, probably, yes.
And prior to the pandemic?
They do fashion shows.
Right.
We do a lot of fundraising amongst ourselves as far as baskets at Christmas time that we would bid on at our meetings. But the fashion show and I think the bake sale are, and then we have a huge yard sale.
Well,
but
prior to the pandemic, our rummage sale was the biggest fundraiser. We used to have it at the old West End gym, and of course that was derailed by. Firstly, the gym got demolished, so then we did it at the West End Presbyterian Church
That's
one
right.
year.
That's right.
COVID came,
Right.
and now I'm not sure how rummage sales are going to do in the future.
What happened in 2020? Were you guys completely...
a lot of our
Derailed.
meetings stopped because,
Yeah.
of course, you couldn't.
Right.
So I think they tried a lot of virtual, but it kind of
Hard.
somehow we stayed together but fell apart. So this is kind of like our rejoining.
Yeah,
It's kind of like we're banding back together and trying to get it all started back again.
yeah. Does it feel like... it's real again after December? I guess December 2019 was when things started. We started reading things in the paper, and by March, everybody was in their homes, sitting out the summer. But does it feel like it's getting back to normal? Because the crowds are coming out for different events. You look at the newspaper, there's tons of stuff going on.
I think it's half and half. I think, like you said in the beginning, there's so many people that are still leery.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the women aren't as receptive to helping. We've had to really work on getting them
Volunteers.
back involved. and then a lot of them, and it's usually the same kind of people. Actually, they're just hands-on and right there to do whatever they can do to help. But I think this will be the beginning of hopefully a successful year that'll go into 2022, so that we can go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah. You mentioned that you've contributed over $62,000 in scholarships to students who otherwise could not have afforded college.
We have over the course of since 1974, which is 47 years. So yes, and I think that's something that Women of the Pines is very proud of.
Okay. Talk to me just a little bit about the type of baked goods, the things that you're going to be offering, because it's a soup to nuts array of. It's like a smorgasbord, actually.
Yeah. So pretty much we ask the women to what they're going to bake.
Okay.
And sometimes they answer us, and sometimes they don't. So sometimes we're just as surprised.
Okay.
But it comes from fresh baked breads.
Yep.
I know this year we have a somebody's making lots of peanut brittle.
Yeah.
Cupcakes, brownies, cookies. There's, they're covering the furry friends this year and having dog biscuits, which are
cool.
kind of fun.
Yeah. Gluten-free products as well.
Yes, anyone with special needs will have gluten-free, nut-free. Last year, I think the biggest thing that I remember was people asking for nuts, and we had so much without nuts that my thought this year when I bake, because I love to bake, is I'm putting nuts in everything, so that everyone else who does the nut-free thing can. But from lemon bars to I can't think of anything else unique that we.
So last year you did have a bake sale.
We did.
And at the same location, at the Sandhills Women's Exchange.
Right.
Was attendance okay? Like everything else, was it just a step below?
I think it was actually pretty good, all things considered, because the Holly Art Fair went on.
Right.
And so I think all things considered, I think we actually had fairly good attendance.
Some of the organizations that you support are agencies that have been on the show in the past. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the agencies that are near and dear, and how are they selected?
The process for selection is that the organization would send a request to Women of the Pines. There's a donations committee who vets all of these applications and then decides which ones they feel most meet the criteria, most meet the mission of Women of the Pines.
Right. One of the great things about Moore County I've found is that people here, unlike Brooklyn, where there's a lot of anonymity, here everyone knows everybody, and everybody always tries to pitch in and to try to help to raise funds for people who are less privileged. The differences between southern and northern Moore County has been talked about a lot, but there's a great spirit here of cooperation, even amongst the retailers, in the villages. Everyone is working together. It's just a great place to live, and it's a giving community.
Very much so.
Right.
I like to call it intimate. It's a very intimate place to live.
It is. And where in Ohio did you come from?
I was all over Ohio, but I was born in Cleveland, but I moved here from Cincinnati.
Okay. But it is a small, I think they refer to Moore County as a micropolitan area. It's a small town, and yet it's got all the small town charm, but it's starting to get all the attractions of a larger urban area, but it still keeps that intimacy. It's what makes it so special. And October is such a great month to be here because you want to be outdoors. The colors are starting to change, and it's just we're discovered, but we don't want to get too discovered, right? We want people to come and visit us and then go home, right? And we get to keep our beautiful Moore County to live in. Amy, I haven't had a chance to get you involved in here. You and I have had a chance to communicate the last couple of days.
Correct.
Publicity. You're going out to get the word out to people about the event.
Correct.
You're coordinating everything on the inside, and you come from a radio background.
I do.
Tell me what you did.
Back in those days, in the 70s, I was a copywriter. I did traffic, which means write down the logs to log in commercials. I did voices. Voices was my number one
I can see that.
thing, because you would be in a booth that would be like carpeted,
Yeah.
you know, and I had a character that was called Gladys Kravitz for the hardware store, and she was so obnoxious. She was like a real shrieky kind of voice, and one nice thing about a microphone is you can pop the P's, and it was like people used to think that it was a real character that really worked at this hardware store.
You're making me think of Trixie and the Lucille Ball show, as you say that. But we're going to come back in the second set. The event is Women of the Pines. It's a bake sale. It's a fundraiser. It's happening on the 16th of October from 9 to 2. It's going to be in the Sandhills Women's Exchange, which is located at 15 Azalea Road in the village of Pinehurst. And it's a week away from now. So I hope everybody comes out to attend. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second set of All Things Moore County. Our conversation today is with the Women of the Pines. They were established in 1974 by Helen Kramer. They've been a service-oriented group raising funds over the years, and so much of the demographics in Moore County have changed over time. I first came here in 1979. I was just a couple years out of school. We've gotten a chance to see so many changes and shifts in population and growth, especially in the last 10 years. And Women of the Pines are still going strong. And on the 16th of October, they're holding a fundraiser, which is a bake sale. It's a celebration of autumn. It's a celebration of living in Moore County. Dorothy, I've already covered that October is the best month of the year to be in Moore County, right? But Debbie, there are some things going on at the bake sale that are different from things you've done in the past.
There are actually in the past we've always had a raffle, but most of our raffles have been baskets of stuff that have been donated from local businesses. And this year I thought sometimes people give you money for raffles that they really don't want that stuff. It's just to give it to you.
So true.
And you know what? It ends up in a yard sale.
Dorothy, she's from the Northeast. Can you tell? I mean, that
Yes, I can.
just that attitude. No, I know exactly what you're saying.
So I thought, we have the most wonderful businesses in this town.
Right.
Why don't we go out there, ask them for donations, hopefully $50 or more, to make it worthwhile, and theme some trees together. So that all just kind of bounded into our 4 unique trees, and each of our trees are themed. We have the best dressed tree, so we went out to our local dress shops and shoe stores, and they were so generous as to give us $50 to $100 gift cards. We did the best dressed tree. We did a Pamper Yourself tree, which our local massage therapists, nail spas, hairdressers have just donated a wealth of
Stuff.
Good
stuff.
Yeah, we have our Wine and Dine tree, which is all of our, if you like to drink and eat, beautiful restaurants, Villaggio's and Chapman's, just great places to eat, the wine stores. And then we have our, I think I did the Pamper Yourself, the Wine and Dine, and then we have a shop local tree. So anything that we had left over, because we stayed local, we put on that shop local tree. So we really just dressed our trees up to the point where we brought them up to $500 each. So we have 4 trees starting at going up to $500. Some may be a few dollars over that, and then we took the leftovers and put them on our shop local tree. We're raffling those trees 50 tickets each, 50 chances.
50 chances
50
per
chances
per tree.
Per tree at $25 a chance.
4 trees.
We have 4 trees. It's $25 a chance, and it's limited to 50 chances per tree.
Okay, so those odds are pretty good.
Yeah, you got pretty good odds. And, we're praying that they all sell out. But if they don't, those odds are going to be even better for these people. So we're kind of watching the trees that don't have as much activity so we know where to put our money.
I like the idea. Have you thought about expanding it to go beyond 4 trees?
This is the first year for it, and I'm very nervous because I kind of thought this up, and I really want it to be successful, so I really hope people come out and do this. But I was a little nervous. I thought we could have come up with
A culinary tree.
Yeah, or a pet tree.
With gift certificates to different restaurants to eat in?
Well, that's kind of how we did the Wine and Dine.
Okay.
So there's a lot of restaurants and wine shops.
Okay.
And that's selling fast in
Yeah,
pre-sale.
it is.
I bet.
It is going faster than anything else. So
there was discussion like yesterday about it, really.
So for the advertisers or the people who have contributed, it's also a great forum for them to advertise and get their name out. Just through osmosis, that more people see your name. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Villaggio's. There have been some new businesses opening up in the village, in particular, in the last couple of seasons. And the cool thing about living here is 2 years here is a lifetime. You can start something from scratch, and if you do all the right things and you network properly, in 2 years, you exist. You're real. In Brooklyn, we would be invisible. They wouldn't even see us.
Right.
And under the underbelly of kind of what you're talking about is also the spirit, I think, Amy, you mentioned, the spirit of the retailers working together, trying to rally the troops. Anything they can do to put their name out there somewhere, if it's for a good cause.
Agora Cafe they're brand new. They just opened.
Okay.
I think I was there the second day that they were in business.
Okay.
And I pitched this.
Okay.
And they committed to it. They don't even I'm waiting on gift cards that should be here this week. That's how new it is. So.
and also the beauty of it is, it will make people shop local. Mm-hmm. They'll
Yeah.
take
It
those
will.
cards,
Exactly.
and they will go into those local stores. I will tell you that some of the stores I didn't even know, they're so new. So Amy would mention it, and I go, I don't even know what that is, which just
The Pink
fascinated
Orchid,
me.
That was one.
So, it's a win-win situation. If you give me a gift card to give to somebody, they will shop there, or they will give it as a gift, and that person will shop
Because
there.
these, if you
Right,
win
Laurie?
a tree, you can certainly gift a card from the tree or as many cards as you want to other people. So, you're branching out and getting more people into the stores. Or you can keep it for
Take
yourself.
care of all your Christmas shopping.
That's true.
So all the funds that you collect from the bake sale, from the sale of the trees, all those monies go from you to the agencies that you're sponsoring. How does all that work?
Well, we keep it through the year, and then at the end of the year is when we go through all of the applications that we get. However, in the past we have donated. We do a Christmas raffle, and a number of years we donated to Project Santa. We had Mr. Earl and Sharon come and have lunch with us, and donated the proceeds of our Christmas raffle. Tambra's Place was right before COVID. We donated some money to them. So throughout the year, we do also raise money for other organizations, but mostly our disbursements come at the end of the year.
Right.
The end of our year, which is June.
Right. I noticed one of the agencies that you had worked with in the past was Christmas for More. Mm. They've been on the show in the past, and each year they go out and they try to help people, underprivileged families who have kids, who they put a list together of things, and they go to different sponsors to put up some money and get them gifts. The spirit of Moore County is alive and well, even with the pandemic at our back. But I also sense that there a lot of people who are this year will be their first foray out into the holiday season. That last year they sort of took a sideline seat.
Right.
Not everybody went out. I remember Thanksgiving last year. A few people had invited me over, and some households had the mask rule, some had no mask rule, and some it was 50-50, and there were two different tables. It was confusing. This year I think people are looking forward to getting back out again and enjoying this great season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The website that you have, let's talk about that, because you can get people to go there. You also need volunteers.
Yes, we
Amy?
our website is womenofthepines.org,
Right.
and we also have a Facebook page. The website will have a list of all the businesses that donated cards, and we also encourage our anyone that sees that to go and go visit these merchants and and spend some money.
Right.
They were very generous with us when all businesses had it rough.
Right.
But they made a lot of changes this last year. They're incorporated. They wanted to have a better social presence to expand fundraising. That was their goal. And in order to be attractive to sponsors, they needed to have all these things in place.
Right. So you have a week to go.
Yes.
Right.
You got some work in front of you.
Yeah, I think,
but
we're having a good time with
We're
it.
pretty well organized, I think.
I think we're very organized with
in
this.
good shape.
I sense that. So the three of you you're the engine on this, right? There are no other parts that I'm missing. It's you guys.
Right. Well,
Okay.
and all of our members who will work hard and contribute.
Maybe you'll come back in the future and talk a little bit about some of the events that you've had.
Absolutely.
And maybe some things that hopefully if things continue to open up into 2022. Helen Kramer started something in 1974 that you're carrying the mantle on right now, and it's growing. And isn't it cool also to see the younger families now that are coming to the events that 10, 15 years ago, it was all the grandparents and
And no, you never saw a child. when I
never.
worked here.
Now
It was
they're
so
crying,
sad.
and you want to say, "Shut up!" Right? Enough.
It's refreshing
It
to me
is
to
very-
see youth come into the area.
Yes, very much so.
You need a little bit of youth, not just roll up the sidewalks at 5.
Laurie, Amy, and Debbie, thank you. Thanks for coming in. Women of the Pines is having their annual bake sale on the 16th, next Saturday, from 9 to 2 at the parking lot at the Sandhills Women's Exchange, in conjunction with the event that's going on, the autumn. They don't call it autumn. The Holly Arts Festival in the village of Pinehurst, and that's when the village turns into a Norman Rockwell card or a Currier and Ives postcard, and people can walk around. They close the streets off. You get to see people you haven't seen. It's a wonderful celebration of living in Moore County.
It's fun.
It is.
Such a fun
very
time.
much so. So come and see us at the bake sale.
Come
Thank you.
early,
Come
9
early.
o'clock. Our doors open at 9.
Yeah,
And we're taking credit cards this year.
perfect.
So come.
That is a first.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is a first. So people can't say they don't have enough cash.
That's right.
We're taking credit cards.
She's from Brooklyn. You have to listen. She's setting the rules. You guys, good luck. Enjoy the event. And this is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to our final set of All Things Moore County. Dorothy, I'm glad we had Women of the Pines on for their upcoming bake sale, and all the agencies that they One of the agencies I had mentioned in the past set was Christmas for More, which some people will remember as the Empty Stocking Fund. I don't know how many years ago they switched gears, but I've been involved with the program each year, even through COVID, and it's one of the most rewarding programs to serve families at Christmas time who are in need, to help provide gifts for families who would not otherwise be able to provide for themselves. One of our past guests on the show is board member Myron Dice, who has been on and has been involved in Christmas for More for how many years now, Myron?
Well, at least the past 4, and we started Christmas for More,
Right.
Because the retired military group sponsored Empty Stocking, and they got to the point where they couldn't handle it anymore, and we went a year without anything, and we decided that we better step in. And it's a totally volunteer board, totally volunteer organization, so we have no administrative costs.
Tell me, big picture, what Christmas for More does for people who may not be aware.
Okay, we every year provide opportunity for persons who have a need to register in 3 different ways. They can either go online and register, or they can send an application in writing, or they can come to a site, and we have a specific day for 5 different sites in the county that they can come and fill out get help in filling out the work. What we ask for persons who are in need is to list things that they actually need, and specifically if the children involved, that in most cases, if they have clothing needs, to have the sizes.
Yeah.
Have specific items between clothing and educational resources. We don't do anything in the electronic games area.
Okay.
And then the head of the household can request a household item, and very, very often it's a bedding item, or it's cookware, or some very basic things, which really shows that the people have a need.
Yeah, that's one of the heartbreaking things when you've always sent me each year a family that's on a graph paper, 2 pages, 3 pages, with the mother, generally the mother, with 3, 4, 5 children, and their ages, and their wish list.
Yes.
And I look at it, and it is heartbreaking, because you realize so many of the things are essentials. They're not want-to-have items, but they're must-have day-to-day items. And when the mother asks for something, it's usually, pillows, shoes, things that are just basic. They're not asking for anything for themselves other than just the necessities.
That's right.
I guess. So your registration period is over.
It's over, and I do want to mention that one of the other characteristics of the program is that we don't deal with income verification at all. We have the families prove that they live at a residence in Moore County.
Right.
That's our one specific item, and proof of each person, so that we know that the children are living in that household. And beyond that, it's up to people. If they have a need, then we're going to try to respond to it.
So the vetting is limited to what you just said. You're not.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Some of the naysayers will always say, well, there are people trying to milk the system. But the truth of the matter is the majority of the applications that you get, these are people who have a need.
Oh, very definitely.
Right.
And one of the things that I saw on a few registrations was a need for tires for the mother who was working. And so I went to a couple of my friends in the car dealing business. Could you help us out in terms of tires?
Yeah.
It really shows that people are struggling, have basic needs.
Yeah.
And for the most part, we're in a county where the person without special skills is either working in the hospitality or the food industry, and these are low-paying jobs. And to raise a family on that kind of salary is mighty tough.
So the numbers that you have today, as we're speaking, you have 1,600 people total registered. I don't know how many families that makes up, but you have 1,100 sponsors.
Yes.
I'm a sponsor. You have
1,100 individuals are covered.
How many?
1,100 individuals are covered by sponsors.
Gotcha. So you have a shortage right now of 500 individuals.
Right, 500 individuals, and of course, a sponsor can choose a size of family. We encourage, like you have done, to have that contact.
Yes.
So that there's some relationship built there, and you can work according to the what the person's comfortable with, arrange for how that is going to be shared.
Right.
And it's really a priority area. But if a person is not comfortable with that, there's always the option of contributing the money.
Right.
We've gone to a pattern where we really are looking at $45 per person for clothing, household items, and toy. It takes that anymore, and so a person could figure, well, what's the budget for what they'd like to contribute, and of course, all of that contribution is tax deductible because Christmas for More is a 501c3.
And it goes directly to the family, the money,
100%
to the
family. There's no administrative cost.
So what I've done, I think I've been doing this since 2007 or 8, somewhere around there, probably when it was the Empty Stocking Fund before it switched over. Lately, what I've done is I've gotten gift cards where I think the mother is more qualified to get the items that the kids have written down or that she's written down for them. So instead of giving them cash, which I would not do.
No, we don't encourage that.
Oh, no, just gift cards to specific stores where they can do, one-stop shopping.
Right.
And then they can have a Christmas and, have some dignity about the holiday season. And in spite of how difficult things may be for them, for whatever reason, we're not passing judgment, right?
Right.
We're just trying to make sure that the kids sort of have some sort of a Christmas memory that we had as kids, which, was a lot different. And that's
the very high percent of our poverty need is with children.
Yeah.
And you've pointed out a way also of providing dignity to the head of the household.
Right.
They're actually
right
providing the gifts.
Right. Right.
And that's an important feature too.
That's a saving grace.
We
sure.
also try to include the food gift cards.
Yes.
We have used Food Lion for all the years that we've been doing this, so that again the family goes and purchases what they want for the food that they need.
Are you your number of people that you have this year, 1,600? Is it more than last year during
We served
the pandemic?
approximately 1,700 people last year.
During the pandemic.
That was the biggest one.
And you were able to do that.
We were able to do it.
Is it typical that at this stage of the game you're still 400 or 500 short?
Yes, it's slow. It's slow, and it's always that kind of last minute thing, but there's certainly the need there that
Okay. So
we
if
want to be able to meet it.
So in order to get the other 500 individuals covered, people who might be interested, how do they reach out to you to get an application?
Go online to Christmas 4 more.org.
Okay.
Christmas4more.com.
.org.
I'm sorry.
Okay, and is that your number one way of getting material out to people through the
Yes.
website?
Yes.
So, is there any other way people get to hear about Christmas for More other than word of mouth from people who have done it?
If they want a speaker, we are willing to go to groups and speak.
Okay. Maybe what we can do, we can keep in touch in the next 6 weeks, because I guess by November you want to have everything set.
That's the.
You only have a couple of weeks to go.
Well, we I would say we have a month to go.
Okay.
Yeah, because we
Okay.
we try to inform by middle of November to the family as to their sponsor.
Do you have a Facebook page?
Pardon?
Do you have a Facebook page?
No.
No. Okay. You should get one. You'll reach a lot of people.
Well, I think I say that.
Okay.
I think our IT person volunteer does use Facebook.
Okay, some
for
sort
the
of social
advertising.
media.
Yes.
It's a great way
Yes.
to meet people.
Yeah, she uses that. I'm sorry.
So we'll post the podcast of the show as we do each week on social media, and I'll make a special note about Christmas for More in hopes that people will either tune in to the podcast or reach out to your website.
Thank you.
What about volunteers? This year is pretty much a wrap, but are you always looking for volunteers at the beginning of the year? Because it's a 12-month-a-year operation.
Yeah, that's right. We're always interested in volunteers in a variety of ways.
Okay.
We need volunteers that sign in with families seeking need. We can use volunteers.
Okay.
Varieties.
Christmas for More is a great agency. I've enjoyed the process of helping each year, and I've particularly enjoyed the process of meeting the mother or the head of household to make a transfer of either the gifts or the gift card, and that personal contact is it's meaningful. It leaves an impression on both parties who are party to that transaction, so to speak. So I'd encourage anybody who has not gotten involved. Christmas for More is a great program. The monies all go directly to the families and nowhere else. And you can sign up with them with confidence. Myron, thanks for coming in and seeing us. And the website is Christmas4more.org, Christmas4more.org. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Have a great week, everybody.